Hello everyone, it's the DZ Maven, back again with another Gunpla review, quick review. I always gotta say that because I don't want to spend an hour talking about one kit. So, Real Grade Sinanju, it is done. I actually got it done about last week, but I've been kind of busy with some other things here, so I'm gonna catch up here and do this review here for you. I'm gonna let you take a closer look here at what we got. As you can see, well, if you're interested in the kit, you probably know by now, this is a very, very shiny kit. Shiny, 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 shiny. All that gloss red and that gold trim. You get the black itself is not really a high gloss, it's kind of a normal black color. The white's normal. But, you know, when all put together, this is actually a very good looking kit. I'm not going to skimp on that. It is actually very visually stunning looking when it's all done. Now, that said, is this a perfect real grade? No, not by far. This thing does have some problems. You may notice I have the Gundam Mk II over here, and the Master Grade Sinanju is over here. I kind of brought these out just to kind of give you a size comparison. That is the Gundam Mk II next to this. As you can see, the Sinanju is quite a bit bigger than this. And you got to remember, the frame inside this is the exact same frame inside here. They just blew it up and made it bigger inside the Sinanju, which, you know, I'm not going to deny, it's a pretty interesting engineering marvel that Bandai did, but at the same time it kind of makes me think they kind of cheaped out on making a new real grade frame for this. So next to the Master Grade, of course the Master Grade is going to be a lot bigger, but yeah, as you can see, that's how it kind of sizes up next to the Master Grade. Ignore my little beef-in on that. That's my Master Grade was sort of an experimental kit, so it's not really panel lined or anything. I just kind of have it around wrong, but in terms of detail, actually, they're actually not much different. The detail level on the real grade is about the same as on the Master Grade, actually. Normally with real grades, I've noticed you're going to get a lot more panel lines and everything, kind of built in, and the chrome accent stickers across it. This doesn't really have that. The detail level is pretty much the same as the Master Grade. The only thing you're getting with this kit over the Master Grade is you're getting this high gloss red straight out of the box. You don't have to paint that, and you get all the gold trim is already done for you right out of the box. In addition, you do get a few gimmicks on this kit. There are panels that will open up along this thruster here. This here will open up, but I haven't had much success in getting it to open up very well. There we go. Yeah, it just slides down, and you get a panel that opens up on the shoulder. Let's see if I can do this here. This seems kind of like almost... I don't really think there's a point to that, really, because there's really not any detail inside of there. So, but what I do like especially is the way these big vernier crushers on the back open up. See, normally they'll stay closed like that, and they actually slide in like that. But they open up very nicely, and oops, that came out. Don't pull on that too hard, just a little bit. But yeah, I especially like the way they open up and kind of fan out like that. The Master Grade does not do that by comparison. It just does that. That's it. They open up and these slide out a little bit, that's all. So this I definitely like better. That I think is a lot better. So, but you know, all put together, this is a very nice looking kit. I definitely think it's a good looking kit. Now about the issues with this kit. First and foremost, since the frame was extended off the Gundam Mk II, it does have some stability issues, and I think kind of went over that in my last video. I think it was before. It was probably before I did the full armor Gundam review. Biggest problem is usually there's going to be some wobbliness at the waist here. I did attempt to reinforce it a bit on mine, so it's not quite as bad, but it's still there to some extent. It's not going to be able to hold itself leaning forward very well. It's going to end up tipping backwards over time. So it's not much else I can do about that without like really impairing the mobility of the kit in the waist. So that's kind of it. Some people have some problems with these wrist pieces completely falling off. I wouldn't make such a big deal about that, because it actually makes it easier to get the hand out. Because you try to pull the hand out, it's going to pull the whole wrist piece off anyway, so you might as well just take the whole wrist piece off and then change the hands out. That way you don't have to kind of finagle with it so much, because the hands are very stiff going into the plastic piece that's right there. So again, you want to be careful with that. Sometimes these knee parts will fall out. They don't have the best connection. As you can see, that's kind of loose right there. If you pose this, those are probably eventually going to fall out. Well, shield came off. That's fine with me, because I want to talk about that. I do want to talk about these shoulder pads here. On the original, when you build it straight out of the box, those are kind of in kind of a weird spot where they're always kind of up like that. I did manage to modify mine so that these can actually move around and they can come down a bit more. I think that's probably better. But probably with the original design, actually, no, I want to show you the Master Grade, what the Master Grade does here. The Master Grade, these things are actually connected right into the shoulder pad. They aren't connected into this piece here, so they're actually kind of fixed in place. But they can actually come down more than what the Real Grade originally has on it. The Real Grade is actually attached into the ball joint of the shoulder. So in order to get it to move around, you have to make a few modifications to it, but now it can kind of come down and I can kind of swing it around back and forth a little bit, which actually gives it a little bit more articulation than it had before, so I don't really mind that. See, is there anything else here? I guess I'll talk about the plastic here. The other thing you're probably going to run into is this glossy plastic. As nice as it is very, very hard to work with. This stuff is, you have to treat it almost like glass. It's the same consistency as the clear plastics you'll get in a Gundam kit here, and you have to kind of treat it the same way. Have a very, very sharp hobby knife on hand, because this stuff is very hard to cut through, and you will inevitably end up chipping it and making a mess of your nub marks here. And there isn't a whole lot you can do to make that better. I mean, I cut pretty carefully on mine, and there's still a few nub marks that are kind of stand out in a few spots. I don't really see them too much from here, but what I did is I took some gloss red paint and tried to go over the nub marks and tried to hide them as best I could, and that seemed to be the best way to go. If you're really that worried about the nub marks, I would probably get some gloss red paint and just kind of go over those nub marks, and hopefully you have paint that matches this red. I used a gloss red Gundam marker. It pretty much hid them pretty well. The red doesn't quite match up perfectly, but it's you can barely see it now. So with accessories, you do get the shield, obviously. The beam rifle here, and you got the grenade launcher attachment. You get your beam axes. They go on the back of the shield. And while I got this out, the back of the shield, you take the grenade launcher out for a second here. I do want to point something out here that does kind of bug me about this kit. The back of the shield is, this is what I would expect out of a high grade kit, not a real grade. Because this whole area compared, okay, let's pull out the master grade here. Do you see the difference here? All of this stuff in here is supposed to be gray. And I really would have appreciated if Bandai had made a gray plastic piece to go inside the shield. And especially hide this gold chrome that is kind of standing out right there. Because really you should not see that at all. I kind of feel like Bandai cheaped out a little bit there. I didn't paint it because it was too big it's obviously too big of an area for me to paint casually, so I'm just going to have to kind of leave it the way it is, but I am kind of disappointed at that, so yeah. If you want to be accurate, you are going to have to paint all of this stuff inside of here gray, so it's a little too much work to be worth it in my opinion, but that is an area where Bandai kind of cheaped out. And the other accessories you do get the beam sabers. Get 2 of these. These sabers do not go inside the wrist. There's not enough space inside the wrist for those. Instead, you get kind of a dummy plug that kind of goes in there. And then you can kind of stick the saber blades inside of that. You get the effect parts for the beam axe, the axe piece, and sort of the axe sword blade piece. You get a pair of these. One thing I do want to note, these are not the soft plastic you would normally get with beam saber effect parts. These are actually kind of more, these are the hard clear plastic. So again, just like with the red plastic on here, you want to be a little careful with how you remove these off the sprue tray, because they may end up cracking. So just another word of caution here. And you don't get a whole lot for hands. You get 2 fist hands. This is the one for the left arm here. And you get a open hand for the left, which I already have on there. It's kind of holding the beam rifle. That's kind of the way I have it posed right now. I don't want to mess around with the posing too much because I kind of have it set to where I kind of like it here. I don't want to kind of finagle with it too much. You do also get the real grade hands. These are kind of pointless. There's really no reason you would need to use those, because they're actually too small, they don't look right, and I don't think they actually fit the pegs in the beam rifle at all. Posability wise, it's not bad. It's about the same as what you would get off the master grade. The only thing, like I mentioned before, you're gonna have looseness in the waist here, and there's not a whole lot you can do about that. So it will stand up fine on its own without an action base, but action base just like the master grade will. But if you want to get into any sort of interesting poses, I really suggest putting it on a action base, because it actually looks a lot better that way. So in addition, you can put the beam rifle on the back butt area right here, but it's a very small space, so I probably wouldn't really bother with that. Actually, I forgot, these things will open up too back here, but you don't really see that too much. So, but yeah, there it is. This was an interesting build. It's not really as bad as I feared it would be. I think that's probably the way I'm going to sum this kit up. It is very visually striking and very nice looking. Would I have preferred normal red plastic over the high gloss? I kind of lean towards, yeah, I probably would have preferred that. It would have been easier to work with, and you wouldn't have to worry about nubs so much. But, you know, at the end of the day, I think Bandai really wanted to try, and I think they kind of wanted to challenge themselves to see if they could actually make something like this into a real grade and actually make it stand out. And in that respect, I do believe they succeeded. So I know, as I mentioned in my update a while ago, I would have preferred a new internal frame to this instead of the Mark II Gundam frame, because Bandai could have used that same frame for another larger kit in the future, like the Real Grade New Gundam, which will probably happen at some point. So, it would have been better if Bandai did that, and they could have just saved themselves a step in the process, but maybe they want to wait on that and do something really amazing with that whenever that happens. So, but yeah, it's still a good kit. I still enjoyed it. I think it looks great. Is it okay for beginners? Kind of on the fence with that. If you're not really used to cutting out parts and dealing with nubs and everything, you're probably going to have a hard time handling this plastic. For a more experienced builder like myself, I mean, I kind of went into it kind of expecting this from everything I've heard about it, and it was still kind of a challenge to deal with. Like I said, I would have preferred normal red plastic with this kit, but anyway, that's it. It's a good kit. Definitely. Now, is it really an improvement over the Master Grade? Kind of. I'll probably overall say it is an improvement. It probably is the better version of the Sinanju you can get right now. So, just got to be aware that there are some issues with the kit. That's all there is, really. And if you're expecting that, you probably shouldn't have a problem with it. So, anyway, that's going to be it for now. Might be a while until I get another new kit here. So I might do stuff on my older kits here. So, anyway, that's it. Hope you enjoyed, and leave a comment, subscribe, ask questions or anything if you feel like it, and have a great day. Bye bye.